Good afternoon, Britannia, and hello to the rest of the world. This is 2C TV, and this is your latest update from the Middle East. The Egyptian government are having a meltdown, and they have decided to deploy their army to the border. All right, so what are we actually talking about in this video? We have a reaction from the Islamists in Gaza. We have a reaction from the Egyptian government, and of course the Europeans are getting involved as well, including the French, because you must always take moral lessons from the French government. Yeah, of course. Anyway, hello to everybody in the live chat. Let's get on with the show. All right, so first things first, let's talk about the General Secretary in Egypt. So we have Hamid Sabahi, who has come out to send a massive warning to the Israelis, saying stop defending yourselves, basically. On the one hand, Egypt have been vocal against Islamists in Gaza, Hamas, but on the other hand, they are dictating to another country in terms of defending themselves, Israelis. The idea of having a massive operation in Gaza, they've already sorted out the northern part, most of the center, and now they're going towards Rafah, because that's where Yahya Sinwar and all the other leadership are based. Well, some of the leadership are based in the tunnels, and you have to basically go there to wipe them out. Obviously, the IDF, as usual, have given a heads up in advance to the civilians to leave the area. And, of course, to go to the humanitarian corridors, but the Islamists are not allowing them to do that. The Egyptians are scared for their own border situation. They've already increased border security. They really care about borders in Egypt. But they are also confronting the Israelis, considering that in 1978, we had this negotiation starting in Camp David between Israel and Egypt. We had a massive peace agreement. And Egypt officially and formally recognized Israel as an independent state. The Egyptian government have now come out to say we are going to scrap that peace deal, and they're going to blame it on the Jews, even though they're the ones who are going to be cancelling it, saying if you go towards Rafah, because they know if they go towards Rafah, the backlash will go towards Egypt, and they don't want any Palestinian to cross the border to go to Egypt. They don't want the Palestinians to be there at all in Egypt. I wonder why. Well, we know, because they were troublemakers before. So the Egyptian government and the Egyptian army have decided to step up, and they have now deployed the tanks and IFVs to the border with Gaza, close to Rafah. They're saying that any sort of operation there by IDF will be a problem when it comes to our border in Egypt. So obviously, the Egyptian government have their own interests, but the fact that they are prepared to confront Israel, they are prepared to say we are willing to cancel the Camp David agreement and the peace deal that they got in 78, 79, where Jimmy Carter also got involved to do that, and they all got Nobel Peace Prizes, and everybody was like, this is the beginning of a new hopeful Middle East. Everybody's going to be friends, and obviously that wasn't the case. So Egypt is going to go against us. So let's go to the statement we have from Hamid Sabahi, who is the General Secretary in Egypt. We also have a reaction from the French government and, of course, Hamas. First things first, this is the statement from Egypt. All of Egypt does not accept the aggression against Rafah, which is considered an aggression against Egypt. What? Okay. If the Israeli army launches an aggression against Rafah, it will be an aggression against Egypt. Well, you already said that, darling, but okay. The entry of the occupation army into Rafah will constitute a violation of the Camp David agreement. Just sorry to pause again. 78, 79, Camp David agreement, Jimmy Carter, peace deal between Israel and Egypt. Egypt formally and officially recognized Israel as a state, as a country, independent, whatever. In this statement, they literally started by saying the entry of the occupation army. They already gone back to the original phrasing that Israel is the occupation. So what happened to the Camp David agreement? And then they say, it's a violation, by the way, but you're already violating the agreement. Anyway, Egypt will not accept any more aggression and bloodshed in Palestinian Rafah. None of your business. You don't even help the Palestinians, but okay. The flood is another response. Al-Aqsa flood is not a response to Israeli aggression, but rather an attack on an Arab initiative. All settlements in northern Palestine, what is Palestine, were abandoned due to the intensity of attacks carried out by Hezbollah. The displacement of settlements in northern Palestine is evidence of the termination of the security contract between the army and the occupation and the settlers. The legacy of resistance enabled Hezbollah to gain a position in the Arab conscience. The role that the Yemen played in this battle transferred the conflict to its international and global extent. What the resistance is doing in Iraq and the American reaction to it confirms our ability to neutralize the major powers. I think these people are drunk. I don't know what they were doing, but they woke up today. They said, let's just drink all the vodka that we have, or whatever they drink. So that's the reaction from the Egyptian government. They literally, in the statement, violated the Camp David agreement, but then they are blaming it on the Jews. Obviously, it's easier to do that. So, the Egyptians also went and asked the French and Macron's government to help them. Say, can we do some sort of joint statement, or basically let's coordinate any sort of speech that we're going to give to our people, to the world. So we had the foreign ministers from Egypt and France saying these. Egypt said this. We discussed the ongoing war in Gaza and stressed the importance of reaching a ceasefire and the entry of aid to the Palestinian people. We affirm our complete rejection of displacement with the aim of liquidating the Palestinian cause or placing the burden on other countries. The threat of navigation in the Red Sea and military actions in Iraq and Syria threaten to worsen the situation and slide into a broader conflict. That's from Egypt. Then France said, we reject any forced displacement of the residents of the Gaza Strip. The situation in Gaza is tragic and there are urgent needs for the residents of the Strip. The Gaza Strip must belong to the future Palestinian state. I started the tour in the Middle East with the aim of reaching. So they are basically saying the same thing that the Israelis have been saying. So there have been some crazy people in Israel who've actually come out to say, let's just send all the Palestinians to Africa or to Europe. Nobody cares about them. And there's already been a backlash. But the official government policy has always been, they've already clarified, well, we're going to have to stay there to wipe out the enemy, and but we don't want to rule over Gaza. And one of the first ideas was actually they went to Mahmoud Abbas in the West Bank, and that didn't work out anyway. Nobody wants Mahmoud Abbas. But the whole point is, they're not going to turn Gaza into the Israeli state, apart from some of the extremists in Israel who want to do it, but nobody cares about them. And everybody condemned their comments. So I don't understand why the French or the Egyptians are saying something that they think is against the Israeli government policy. It's not. They all want to stop this nonsense, the conflict, and the only way you could stop the conflict is to wipe out the enemy. That's the only way you could do it. You can't really have permanent peace or ceasefire with these idiots in power in Gaza. But the idea is not to turn Gaza into Israel either, because it's too complicated now. It's way too complicated now. Anyway, speaking of Egypt, let's talk about this situation with the border. They are very good at border security. The Americans should learn from Egypt with the situation in Mexico, the Mexican border. They have once again spent more money to strengthen this defense. They basically have a triple wall on the border. Let's go to the video that we have. It's fascinating. Crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. So they really much care about stopping the Palestinians from getting into Egypt. They're very good at doing that, but they're also very good at lecturing other countries about how they should defend their own nation. Crazy people, right? All right, so let's talk about, speaking of nutters, let's take a quick trip to the capital of Iran, Tehran. Because the other beardy weirdies, look at this one. The president of the Islamic Republic of Iran, who is basically the puppet of the supreme leader. Raisi said, today, the issue of Palestine has become the issue of the world. Not really. Not just Muslims. And this is thanks to the Iranian people who taught the world resistance. Okay, that's not true. Firstly, it's not the Iranian people, it's the Islamic occupiers in Iran. Secondly, you taught the world resistance. Yes, it's terrorism. You did teach the world terrorism. So thank you, idiots. We propose to expel the Zionist entity from the United Nations. Anyone who violates United Nations resolutions cannot abide by its laws and frameworks and must therefore be expelled. Okay, so the Iranians are not too happy about the Israelis being in the United Nations. I have a very fresh idea. 1. Remove the United Nations from New York. 2. Every sensible and sane developed member, including the UK and the US and all of them, leave. 3. Shut it down. And then allow the enemy, who love the United Nations, to create their own committees and whatever they have. Let's not forget, Afghanistan, Iran, Saudi Arabia, all the weirdos have been part of committees inside the United Nations on women's rights, human rights, gay rights, everything that you can think of. It's not even a joke. They were leading these committees, these groups in the United Nations. The United Nations is not a serious organization. But of course, for decades, it was a taboo to even say anything against the UN. But what does it do? Apart from actually funding the Islamists and, of course, creating more division and preventing peace. It's nonsensical. But speaking of them, speaking of the political wing of Hamas, they have also released their statement from Gaza, from the tunnels, because they have good internet connection, saying any attack by the occupation army on the city of Rafah means blowing up the prisoner exchange negotiations. Netanyahu is trying to evade the obligations of the exchange deal by committing a new genocide and humanitarian disaster in Rafah. What Netanyahu and his Nazi army have not achieved in more than 4 months, they will not achieve, no matter how long the war lasts. Hang on. Just pay attention to the content of this and the context of it. They seem to be very angry and scared about Rafah operation. So they're like, don't do it, don't come to Rafah. It's gonna jeopardize everything. And then at the end it says, yeah, but they failed anyway. They're not really gonna get to us. 4 months, the Israelis are weak. So if they are failing, if they are weak, then why are you so scared? If they are weak, why are you threatening the exchange deal negotiations? You can see the problem. These are the low IQ people in the world who basically just brainwash themselves by reading nonsensical books about fantasy people going to the moon, or splitting the moon and going to space on a horse. I don't know what Muhammad did. He split the moon. I forgot about it. He split the moon. Oh no, then he got on a horse and went to heaven. He flew to heaven on a horse. Split the moon. I don't know why he split the moon, by the way. I think it was basically he was trying to show off because he knew that Moses split the sea or something, and and divided the sea, and Jesus was basically a winemaker, turning water into wine. And then Muhammad was like, well, I can do things as well. I'm going to split the moon. I'm going to get on my horse and go to heaven. Why are you going to heaven? What's a good... Oh, who cares? Anyway. Newton says, ex-Muslim woman, happy you got well. Was I not well? What's happening? Oh, no, is it someone else? I think you're talking to someone else. Billy Nolan says, Egypt, stop persecuting Christians. Clean your own house out. Yes, exactly. Says, I like the Iranian government removed from power, but only by its people rather than by the West. Yes, so the Iranian people inside Iran fighting against the Islamic occupiers have been very clear to the world, saying this is our fight. we don't need any sort of neocon Western liberation, but they do want support. They said just be a vocal supporter, stop dealing with the Iranian regime, recognize them as a terrorist organization, and stop making deals, and get your Western media, international media, to talk about us, to report on what's going on in Iran. And they just feel that they are voiceless right now inside Iran. And that's the only thing they're asking. They've been very clear. They have their own plan. And of course, most of them are behind the crown prince of Iran. And they are preparing the Persian constitution to bring back constitutional parliamentary democracy, or whatever they're going to have. And they're going to have a referendum. They have a plan anyway. And they'll go back to the Persian constitution. This is just complete... the opportunists that we have in the world, whether from the Western globalists or the Eastern globalists, they just want to do what they want to do. And we have to always resist them. White King Kong says Islam is a religion of lies and Arabs stole from the Ottomans. I mean, it's just a political ideology. It's just a set of regulations and with a lot of loopholes, by the way. The rest of it is just copy and pasted from Torah and Bible. Cloud Stripe says the Maya is living on that Zion money. The Zionist money. I wish I need to change I need to get better t-shirts. It's been a while. So if anybody has any Jewish money, apparently I'm already getting accused of getting Jewish money and Zionist money. Give it to me. No, the problem with that we have on TCTV is that I'm too stubborn to even try to work with anybody. Or basically, I've said it so many times. I had an opportunity to expand this channel a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, by submitting to financial backers and rich people and corporations who wanted to fund us. And so I just don't want to be controlled. I'm a contrarian. I'm against authority. I'm not a team player. Leave me alone. I will grow slowly. And slowly actually became quite fast, because look at the numbers. 395,000. We are close to 400,000 subscribers without any foreign money or any sort of money, really. We have no money. Apart from you guys, I was supporting the channel. Thank you so much. Speaking of which, let's go to some of the super chats we've received so far. Just Gaming Entertainment, thank you, saying Egypt literally wants us to kill Hamas. So why are they being stupid now? I know, they are stupid. They are just terrified of the border situation. They don't want any of the Palestinians to cross the border. That's why. Lala Kashani, thank you very much. Kashani, I think it's an Iranian name. Said they are scared of the Islamists but ready to confront the IDF. I know. Basically, my message is simple and direct to LCC. Egypt, you are drunk. And you need to go home. Anything that comes out of the Egyptian government's side is just complete confusion. And they don't want to seem like the bad guys for protecting their own borders, but they are dictating other countries in terms of how they should defend themselves. It's funny. It's just too funny. Another comment. Egypt better back the F up. If they start S with Israel, Israel will take Sinai back. Oh, imagine. I mean, that would be funny though. Obviously, nobody wants more conflict. Do not advocate for more conflict. It's not a good situation. All you just want is to always support people who are defending themselves. That's it. And we do not call terrorism resistance. What do I mean resistance? Literally, from the 40s, people came and said, okay, do you guys want a two-state solution? One side said, no, from the river to the sea, we will kill all of you. And they have repeated the same ideology since the 40s, since 48. It's always been them starting the conflict and then blame it on the Jews. Toddy Terrence, Egypt will end up on the Taft grey list as well. Wow. Actually, to be fair, we have to be cautious because the Egyptians have been funding a lot of our universities. I don't understand where they get the money, by the way, considering there's a huge mess in Egypt right now. But just like the Qataris, now Qataris do have the money. And I don't know why, well, they are obsessed with infiltrating the West because they know that they're paymasters. Let's not forget. On the one hand, the Egyptians get the Americans close saying, hey, America, let's deal with each other. And on the other hand, they pick up the phone to President Xi saying, hello, China. How is the BRICS stuff going? They are literally, they want to play both sides. The unfortunate situation is nobody cares about Egypt. No one cares. It's basically a glorified Pakistan at this point. It's not a serious country. Even Myers Flat has a tunnel, Bakerloo line. It's not Bakerloo, it's the Piccadilly line. Come on, guys. Anyway, another comment. Hi, Sir Maya. Oh, I've been knighted, guys. Sir Maya. Islamists in all terrorist groups, they want to remove all non-believers of Islam. Absolutely. Christians and Israel. It says they want to put all the Islamic religion all over the world. Yes, they have been quite clear, and we've been trying to warn everybody. All so-called libertarians, so-called conservatives who are suddenly against the Jews. Not suddenly, they've always been against the Jews, some of them. That they don't understand. These people are the same people who are against the globalist plot for one world government. Literally, Islam, centuries ago, said the same thing. They were the original creators of the idea of a one world government under the umbrella of Islam. Not only that, those who say, well, why do we even care about what's going on to the Jews? Because they come for the Jews first, then Christians, then atheists, then all the others, and maybe at the end, maybe Buddhists as well. They don't stop. They will never stop. And they can't, the ideology cannot get reformed. That's the problem. Individuals can be reformed and evolved, but not the ideology. Izayara says, I really wish we could send you unconditional media links here. I can't. I've been trying. What are media links? You can send us emails if you want. There's an email in the description box if you want to send me any links. Obviously, we do get. I checked last time I checked. We get about 1,200 emails a day. By the way, so if we don't reply to every single one of you, it's almost impossible. Apologies, Marina. Thank you so much. Marina from Israel. Literally send me Jewish money. Stop it. Thank you so much. You're literally fueling the conspiracy theories, Marina. Brilliant. Yahudi dollars. Yeah, exactly. Okay, you can't send money from the US and pretend it's Jewish money. Jewish dollars is coming. Thank you so much, guys. All right, let's go back to the others in the live chat as well. I haven't forgotten about you. Oh, this is funny. This person continues to copy and paste the same comment in every live stream. I love it. This one. This channel redirects people's anger about mass immigration into support for Zionism. Zionism is the ultimate containment operation for white people. What? White people? Okay. So, let's give a bit of a lesson to this fat virgin who's typing from his mother's basement. We don't really just talk about mass migration. We talk about everything. We talk about advocacy for small government and more people power, more democracy, more free speech. And I'm against all governments and all tribes. I'm not part of any party or any tribe. I used to be a Tory when I was younger, then I grew up. I'm against all governments. I don't advocate for any prime minister or president, whether it's the Israeli government, the French government, the UK government, or the Canadian government. We stand by people, for people. Not because we are some sort of Robin Hood character or anarchists. We criticize the Western world because we want the Western world to be better. We criticize the Western globalists because we want them to focus on us and prioritize us and our interests. We try to speak for everybody. Anybody who's defending itself, anybody who's actually standing for freedom and individual liberty. And basic conservative values, traditional values. It's not rocket science. There's no anger when it comes to mass immigration. We're just raising awareness. Anyway, well, feel free to continue to watch the channel and leave comments because it helps us grow the channel. All the trolls. Nearly says he might be a 70-year-old virgin who's very angry. Now, these people usually have mummy-daddy issues, regardless of their age. They want to blame their own problems on other people and other things. It's easier for them. Northern Kelly, yes, decentralized, absolutely. My pure ideology, which I will one day create a cult and a book and call it the holy book of Tutsiism, is national libertarianism. You combine nationalism in a very basic way, in a very harmless way, look after your people first, but then you actually introduce very simple, common sense libertarian ideas, just individual liberty, do whatever you want to do, don't harm anybody else. But you're still in society itself, you need traditional values, conservative values. Government policy should be more libertarian leaning, society and culture should be more conservative, and that's the best combination you could have. Tito England says, Maya Tootsie Roll. Oh, the Tootsie Roll takes me back to the bullies at school who were trying to, like, instead of calling me Tootsie. It was funny because even back in school, bullying never worked on me. Had no effect, especially like verbal bullying or anything like that. Anything to hurt my feelings never worked. I remember one day I went home from school and my mom was like, how was school? I was like, yeah, it was all right. Just some weirdos, some kids who were trying to like be mean and bear bullying me. They were insulting you, Mom. They were just saying things about you and I was just laughing at them. My mom was furious because she's traditional. She was like, you should have defended the honor of your mom. I was like, calm down. It's just words, idiots. Don't give them the attention they need. Bullying doesn't work on me. So keep trying. That's a good comment as well against that troll that we just had. Unique Video says, why does Evola need to mention color? You've seen how mixed Israel... yeah, let's not forget. The people who hate these, all the Jewish people and the Israelis, and claim that... sometimes they claim that Israel or the Jews are white. Like, first, have you been to Israel? Secondly, have you met all the different types of Jewish people? No, it's nothing to do with skin color. You got white, you got brown, you got this, you got that, you got every type of Jew. Idiots. Basically, all these people, the problem they have with the word white, they associate the word white with power and success, ironically, because they attack white people and white supremacy, white privilege. They want to bring it down, right? Because it's actually them who believe that white is powerful and superior. We're not even saying anything about that. But the fact that they are the ones who just started this imaginary fight against the word white is because they themselves believe that white, or the skin color white, is superior and they don't like it. I didn't say that the white is superior. They're the ones who are saying it. And also, let's not forget, the developed world and the Western European culture, obviously coming from Judeo-Christian culture and values, was built by white people. Everything you have, family values, discipline, hard work, capitalism, democracy, and modern Christianity, it all happened in the white continent. This hatred against white people is funny. It's also just illogical. It makes no sense. Norton is back with more policies. Decentralized banking, government, media, corporations. Yes, absolutely. The fear that we have, and this is where the old school libertarians went wrong. They focused for decades. Libertarians focused way too much on big government. And because they were capitalists, they kept promoting, obviously, free market, businesses, corporations. They have not updated their system in their head that the fear is no longer coming from big governments. It's actually big corporations. Big governments are going to be replaced by corporatism. So then the future, and we've seen it, even in fictional movies and TV shows and books, that this dystopian future is always like a corporation taking over. I mean, that's obviously fiction. It's a kind of fantasy, but it's not really going to be one corporation. Could be, but it's corporatism. And you've already seen Davos being more powerful than those conferences than any political party conference, Tory conference or Labour conference. Those conferences have no influence compared to Davos, for example. Well, it says, what is wrong with a 70-year-old virgin? I'm a 50-year-old virgin and love it. Well, you're not 70 yet, so it's fine. You're still young. Go away. No, the problem was that person was definitely still typing from his mum's basement. That's the problem. Yeah, this is good. You must be really thick to think that Jewish people are only white people. I know they literally, most of them came from the Middle East, and a lot of them from North Africa now. You literally have Jews from Morocco. They're not white. Janice asks a very good question. Doesn't Egypt get their weapons from the USA? That's the problem that we have with this whole debate. The Egyptian government, which you should not take seriously, on the one hand, they go to America and say, yeah, America, we're friends, let's just work together. And then on the other hand, they go and have a conversation with China. They are not your friends. I'm talking to the whole world, by the way. And they're not even friends to the actual Egyptian people as well. There's still a big chunk of the Egyptian population who are like, what the hell's going on? Forget about those who actually advocated for Muslim Brotherhood. They're just weirdos, a bunch of Islamists. But the rest of the Egyptian population are like, well, this doesn't really represent us anyway. Aaron Bacon saying, how long before Biden sticks his toe in? F. Joe Biden. Yes. Biden doesn't even know where Egypt is. Don't expect too much. Nicole from Israel says, I'm sending Jewish money from Israel. Now the conspiracy theories are confirmed officially. 2CTV is funded by the Jews. Thank you so much, all the lovely Jews and Christians and atheists, and a few sensible moderate Muslims watching this as well. The thing is, if you want to be a moderate or liberal Muslim, that means you're not a real Muslim. According to the book, you have to be Puritan or you're not a real Muslim. But it's okay, you're still welcome, because you're not a Puritan. We don't believe in purity, apart from white people. Anyway, before I say something to cancel myself again, let's take a break. We have so much to talk about today. We're going to talk about the rise of Islamism when it comes to the Rochdale by-election in England. Tony Blair and Blairism is coming back to British politics. Angela Rayner was targeted by Islamists. We're going to talk about Labour Party's anti-Jewish conspiracy theories. We're going to talk about Joe Biden threatening Israel. Yeah, that's going to be good. And we're going to talk about the armed forces in Britain loosening their background checks because they want more diversity. And chaos in India. Oh, you're going to want to watch that later on as well. The best thing you can do is, of course, subscribe to the channel. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.